BingX, a trusted global crypto exchange. Trade spot, futures, or copy top traders easily. Sign up via the link or referral code to get 30 USDT instantly, plus up to 1,500 USDT in bonuses for verification, deposit, and trading.
The alarming rate at which Europe's wild bee populations are teetering on the brink of extinction has dramatically escalated over the past decade, with the number of species facing this perilous fate more than doubling. This stark reality, revealed through comprehensive scientific evaluations for the International Union for Conservation of Nature's Red List of Threatened Species, paints a grim picture for these vital insects. Out of 1,928 wild bee species assessed across Europe, a staggering 172 are now recognized as being at risk of disappearing forever. This surge in vulnerability is mirrored in the plight of Europe's butterflies. Their numbers threatened with extinction have nearly doubled, climbing from 37 to 65 since the previous comprehensive study conducted 14 years ago. Tragically, one species, the Maideron large white, Pyrrhus wollastoni, has already been declared extinct, serving as a somber precursor to what could befall many others. Grethel Aguilar, the IUCN Director General, emphasized the profound implications of this decline, stating, "Beyond their beauty and cultural significance, pollinators like bees and butterflies are lifelines for our health, our food systems and our economies, sustaining the fruits, vegetables, and seeds that nourish us." She further cautioned, the latest European Red List assessments reveal serious challenges, with threats mounting for butterflies and crucial wild bee species. The drivers behind these rapid and devastating declines are multifaceted and deeply concerning. The relentless destruction and degradation of natural habitats, largely a consequence of intensive agricultural practices and the abandonment of rural land, continue to fragment essential ecosystems. The draining of wetlands, unchecked overgrazing by livestock, and the widespread application of fertilizers and pesticides, including neonicotinoids, are further contributing to the ecological collapse. This pervasive fragmentation of pollinator-friendly environments significantly amplifies the danger of localized extinctions, pushing already vulnerable populations closer to the edge. Adding to this complex web of threats is the undeniable impact of global heating. Climate change is emerging as a major perpetrator, with approximately 52% of all endangered butterflies in Europe now imperiled by its effects, a figure nearly twice as high as that recorded a decade ago. The intricate balance of European ecosystems, where up to 90% of flowering plants rely on animal pollination, is precariously balanced on the survival of these insects. Dr. Dennis Mitches, the lead coordinator of the wild bee assessment, expressed profound concern, noting, "Sadly, wild bee populations are in drastic decline and cannot be easily replaced by managed colonies." He warned of a cascading effect, stating, "If wild bees disappear, many wild plants might be at risk too, of which flower-rich meadows and beautiful orchid species are just a few examples." The consequences are already being felt across diverse pollinator groups. 15 species of bumblebees, indispensable for pollinating key crops like peas, beans, peanuts, and clover, and 14 species of cellophane bees, vital for the pollination of trees such as willows and red maples, are now classified as threatened. In a particularly critical development, Symphonergus philopodus, a mining bee unique to the continent and the sole species of its genus in Europe, has been assessed as critically endangered, representing the scientific category closest to extinction in the wild. The vulnerability of certain species to climate change is starkly illustrated by those found exclusively in mountain habitats. These butterflies, needing to ascend to higher altitudes as their environments warm, face the ultimate barrier of disappearing terrain. In southern Spain alone, species such as the Nevada grayling and the Andalusian anomalous blue are among over 40% of European endemic species that are now threatened with extinction. The Mediterranean region is grappling with extreme drought and wildfires, jeopardizing species like the critically endangered Carpathos grayling. Further north, within the Arctic Circle, the northward creep of the tree line, driven by rising temperatures, is encroaching upon bog and tundra habitats. Warmer conditions are also impeding the ability of reindeer to cross ice floes to graze Arctic grasslands, disrupting a natural process that helps maintain these open spaces. 8 butterfly species in this fragile region, including Freya's fritillary and the Arctic ringlet, are now facing extinction. Martin Warren, a lead coordinator for the butterfly assessment, underscored the critical role of grasslands, stating, "The biggest habitat for all these pollinators is flower-rich grassland, and that is disappearing very fast across Europe because of all these factors." However, he also offered a glimmer of hope, remarking, "The positive thing is that so many people care now and there's a lot more awareness." Under the EU nature restoration legislation, all member states have to reverse the decline in pollinators by 2030, and they are going to have to start doing something. There are landowners who are interested. Let's hope they can get the incentives that will help them on their way. Warren highlighted achievable actions, describing low-hanging fruit such as farmers establishing flower-rich margins around their fields, which can enhance rather than diminish food production. Jessica Roswell, the EU Commissioner for Environment, Water Resilience and a Competitive Circular Economy, characterized the conservation status of wild bees, butterflies, and other pollinators as dire. She stressed, urgent and collective action is needed to tackle this threat. Together with member states, the European Commission has put in place an EU-wide monitoring system for pollinators based on the EU Nature Restoration Regulation, which will help to track our progress. Now, we need to focus on implementation and cooperation with member